Adam Sandler was humiliated at the Oscars for his simple clothes, but he teaches a lesson. Adam Sandler stared at the cream-colored envelope on his kitchen counter, the gold-embossed Academy logo catching the morning light. After 30 years, in Hollywood and dozens of beloved films, he'd finally received a nomination for Best Actor, not for a comedy, the genre that had defined his career, but for a gritty drama where he played a former addict reconnecting with his estranged daughter. "You gonna open that today or just keep staring at it?" his wife Jackie asked, sliding a cup of coffee across the counter. Adam smiled, running his finger along the sealed edge. "Just trying to make it last. Never thought I'd get one of these." "You deserve it," Jackie said, squeezing his shoulder. That performance was incredible. Adam had transformed for the role, physically and emotionally, losing himself in the character's pain and redemption. The critics had called it revelatory and career-defining. The nomination felt like validation for decades of work, often dismissed as merely commercial. His phone buzzed with a text from his longtime manager. "Finally! Now we need to talk styling. Armani? Tom Ford?" Adam texted back a thumbs-up emoji, but felt a twinge of discomfort. Throughout his career, he'd maintained his casual style, comfortable clothes, minimal fuss. Even at premieres and award shows, it was part of who he was, this unspoken contract with his audience that fame hadn't changed him. That afternoon, his daughters Sadie and Sunny burst through the door after school. "Dad, you're trending everywhere," Sadie exclaimed, showing him her phone. "Everyone's saying you're going to win." "Let's not get ahead of ourselves," Adam replied, though the thought sent a thrill through him. Could he actually win? Later that night, he sat in his home theater watching the film that had earned him the nomination. On screen, his character sat at a diner counter, tentatively reaching out to his daughter after years of absence. Adam remembered filming that scene, how he'd channeled his own fears about failing the people he loved most. "You look different," his character's daughter said on screen. "I am different," his character replied. "Not perfect, but different." Adam paused the film, those words resonating. He'd taken this dramatic role because it scared him, because he wanted to grow. But now, facing Hollywood's biggest night, he wondered if growth meant abandoning who he truly was. His phone buzzed again, this time with a message from his stylist with options for custom tuxedos. The price tags made him wince. "Everything okay?" Jackie asked, joining him on the couch. "Yeah," he said, hesitating. "Just thinking about all this Oscar stuff." "What about it?" Adam gestured vaguely. "The whole performance of it all. The red carpet, the designer clothes, the careful speeches." Jackie studied him carefully. "So what are you thinking?" Adam gazed at the frozen frame of his character, a man finding his way back to authenticity, and suddenly knew exactly what he wanted to do. "I'm thinking it might be time to be myself," he said with a growing smile, "for better or worse." As the reality of the nomination settled in, Adam felt both excitement and apprehension. The Academy Awards were just 3 weeks away, and while part of him embraced this career milestone, another part worried about navigating Hollywood's most prestigious evening while staying true to himself. "I'm just saying, this is different." Barry, Adam's publicist of 15 years, paced the living room of Adam's Los Angeles home. "This isn't the MTV Movie Awards or the People's Choice. This is the Oscars." Adam slouched on his couch, fidgeting with the basketball shorts he was wearing. "I get it, but I've been thinking a lot about this." "Adam," Barry continued, his voice softening, "this is your first nomination. The whole industry will be watching. The right look could define this new chapter of your career." Jackie entered with a tray of coffee. "Maybe hear what Adam's thinking before shooting it down." Barry sighed, accepting a cup. "Fair enough." Adam leaned forward. "Look, my whole career I've been the guy who shows up in comfortable clothes. It's Not an act, it's who I am. People connect with that authenticity. But the Academy, Barry began. The Academy nominated me for my performance, not my wardrobe, Adam interrupted. I'm not saying I'll show up in gym clothes, but I want something that feels like me. Simple, comfortable, real. Barry rubbed his temples. The press will have a field day. Probably, Adam agreed, but I've never been the guy who fits the Hollywood mold. Why start now? The conversation was interrupted when Adam's phone rang. Rob Schneider, his longtime friend and co-star. Congrats, you magnificent bastard, Rob shouted. We're celebrating tonight, no excuses. That evening at a small gathering of friends, fellow comedians and actors who'd been with him since his Saturday Night Live days, Adam shared his Oscar outfit dilemma. So the publicist wants you in some fancy penguin suit, and you're thinking, no, what exactly? Rob asked over pizza and beer. Adam shrugged. Something simple, nice pants, good jacket, but comfortable, something that feels like me. Chris Rock, nursing a drink in the corner, laughed. Man, those fashion critics are gonna tear you apart. They might, Adam agreed, but I've been reading about past winners. Brando, Newman, Pacino, guys who stayed true to themselves even when the industry wanted to shape them into something else. David Spade raised an eyebrow. Pretty lofty company there, buddy. Not comparing my talent, Adam clarified, just the approach to navigating all this Hollywood stuff. Later that night, as his friends were leaving, Kevin James pulled him aside. You know, people love you because you never changed. All the success and you're still the same Adam. That matters. The following day, Adam called his longtime costume designer from his films, a woman named Susan, who understood his style and preferences. Not a traditional tuxedo, he explained. Something elegant but comfortable. Something that looks like me on my best day. Susan seemed to understand immediately. I have some ideas. Trust me, we'll make it perfect for you. Not what they expect, but something authentic. As the fitting progressed in the weeks leading up to the ceremony, Adam felt a growing confidence in his decision. The outfit took shape. A beautifully tailored navy jacket with simple trousers, paired with shoes that wouldn't leave his feet aching after hours of sitting in the Dolby Theatre. The night before the final fitting, he received a call from Philip, Seymour Hoffman's widow, who'd heard about his nomination through mutual friends. Phil always said you had range that people hadn't seen yet, she told him. He'd be thrilled about this recognition. The conversation left Adam emotional and reflective. Hoffman had always been true to himself, in his performances and in how he'd navigated the industry. It felt like a confirmation of Adam's approach. I think I'm doing the right thing, he told Jackie that night. She kissed his forehead. You're honoring your work by being yourself. That's always the right thing. The limousine inched through Los Angeles traffic toward the Dolby Theatre. Adam adjusted his navy jacket, a subtle departure from the standard. Black tuxedo paired with crisp dark trousers and comfortable shoes that wouldn't leave his feet screaming after hours of ceremony. You look handsome, Jackie said, squeezing his hand. She was stunning in a simple emerald gown. And true to yourself. Adam nodded, though his stomach churned with nerves. His decision to forgo the traditional Oscar attire had already leaked to the press. Comments ranged from supportive to scathing, with one fashion blogger writing, Sandler's casual approach proves he doesn't understand the gravitas of the Academy. The car turned onto Hollywood Boulevard, where crowds lined the barriers. Adam glimpsed the endless red carpet ahead, blazing with camera flashes. Last chance to change your mind, his publicist Barry said from the front seat, only half joking. No turning back now, Adam replied, his voice steadier than he felt. Their car joined the queue of limousines disgorging celebrities in custom designer creations. When their door opened, the roar of the crowd hit Adam like a physical force. He stepped out, helping Jackie from the car, and immediately felt the scrutiny of 1,000 eyes. "Adam, over here!" photographers shouted. Camera flashes strobed as he and Jackie took their first steps onto the carpet. They paused for photos, Adam smiling through his discomfort. He could already feel the whispers, see the subtle double takes from other celebrities in their impeccable tuxedos and gowns worth more than cars. Ryan Seacrest waved him over for the obligatory interview. Adam braced himself. "Adam Sandler, your first Oscar nomination," Seacrest began enthusiastically. "How does it feel?" "Surreal," Adam answered honestly. "I'm grateful to be recognized for this role." Seacrest gestured to Adam's outfit. "You've gone with something a bit more relaxed than the traditional Oscar look." Adam nodded. "Yeah, I wanted to be comfortable and true to myself tonight. This felt right." "Bold choice," Seacrest replied with a professional smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. As they moved along the carpet, Adam noticed varying reactions. Some older Academy members regarded him with barely concealed disapproval. A few younger actors gave him subtle nods of respect. Leonardo DiCaprio, impeccable in Tom Ford, passed by and whispered, "Brave. Move, man. Wish I had the guts." Near the entrance to the theater, they encountered the stars of a popular fashion commentary show, filming live reactions. "And here comes Adam Sandler," the female host announced, her smile tight. Apparently dressing like he's attending a casual Friday rather than Hollywood's most prestigious night. Her co-host laughed. "I guess when you're known for playing man-children, it's hard to dress like a grown-up." Adam pretended not to hear, but felt the sting of the comment. Jackie squeezed his arm supportively. Inside the theater's lobby, the atmosphere was electric with pre-ceremony excitement. Adam noticed small clusters of people glancing his way, then turning to whisper among themselves. He recognized the expression. It was the same look studio executives had given him throughout his career when he pitched ideas they deemed too unconventional. Meryl Streep approached, radiant in a custom Dior gown. "Adam, congratulations on the nomination. Your performance was extraordinary." "Thank you," he replied, genuinely moved by her recognition. "That means a lot coming from you." She smiled warmly. "And I must say, it's refreshing to see someone brave enough to be themselves tonight." Her words bolstered him as they found their seats in the theater. The ceremony would begin in minutes. Around them, the industry's elite adjusted designer outfits and checked reflections in compact mirrors. Adam took a deep breath, reminding himself why he was here, not for the clothes or the pageantry, but for a performance he was truly proud of, for staying true to the characters he created and the audiences who connected with them. Still, as the lights dimmed and the broadcast began, he couldn't help but wonder if his wardrobe choice would overshadow the work that had brought him here in the first place. The orchestra swelled as Jimmy Kimmel took the stage to begin the 97th Academy Awards. Adam settled into his seat, trying to focus on the host's opening monologue rather than the occasional glances still being directed his way. He didn't have to wait long for the other shoe to drop. "We have an incredible group of nominees tonight," Kimmel said, scanning the audience. "Hollywood's finest, all dressed in their absolute best." He paused, his eyes landing on Adam. "Well, almost all of us. Adam Sandler came dressed like he's picking up a prescription at CVS." The audience erupted in laughter. Cameras swung toward Adam, projecting his image on the massive screens throughout the theater. He managed a good-natured smile, though his stomach tightened. "Seriously, Adam," Kimmel continued, "most people dress up to meet their childhood heroes. You dress down to meet the Oscar." Another wave of laughter, louder this time. Adam maintained his smile, though he felt Jackie tense. Beside him, throughout the ceremony, the jabs continued. Presenters sprinkled in references to dress codes and respect for tradition. When introducing the Best Costume Design category, the presenters made a pointed joke about the importance of appropriate attire. During a commercial break, Adam checked his phone and immediately regretted it. Social media was exploding with commentary about his appearance. Sandler disrespects the Academy with his casual attire. If you can't bother to dress properly, why should we bother to watch your films? This is why comedians don't belong at the Oscars. A text from his manager, Twitter is brutal, you okay? Adam put his phone away, forcing himself to breathe deeply. Jackie placed her hand over his. You knew there might be backlash, she whispered. He nodded. Didn't think it would be the main event. As the ceremony progressed, Adam struggled to stay present. When clips from his nominated performance played, showing the raw emotion and vulnerability he'd brought to the role, the disconnect felt even more pronounced. Here was work he'd poured his soul into, yet all anyone seemed to care about was his jacket and pants. During another break, Frances McDormand stopped by their row. Don't let them get to you, she said quietly. They did the same to me when I wouldn't wear makeup to these things. The work speaks for itself. Her words helped, but Adam still felt the weight of the scrutiny. When his category was announced, the camera lingered on each nominee. The other four men wore impeccable tuxedos from the world's top designers. And Adam Sandler for second chances, the presenter announced as the camera found him again. He didn't win. The Oscar went to Denzel Washington, who delivered a powerful acceptance speech about artistic integrity and staying true to one's vision. The irony wasn't lost on Adam. After the ceremony, they attended the governor's ball briefly, where the sideways glances and whispered comments continued. Fashion reporters approached, asking pointed questions about his statement outfit, trying to frame his choice as either a protest or a publicity stunt. It wasn't a statement, Adam explained repeatedly. I just wanted to be comfortable and authentic. Nobody seemed satisfied with this answer. By the time they reached their car, Adam was emotionally exhausted. As they pulled away from the venue, he loosened his collar and leaned back against the seat. I'm sorry it turned out this way, Jackie said softly. Don't be, Adam replied. I'm not sorry I did it, just surprised at how much it seems to matter to everyone. His phone buzzed with a text from his oldest daughter. You looked great, Dad. And your movie was the best one anyway. Adam smiled, feeling a small weight lift from his shoulders. Maybe there was something valuable in this experience after all, a lesson about standing firm when it would be easier to conform. As their car navigated through the Los Angeles night, Adam found himself thinking about his character in the film, a man who had lost himself and then, painfully and imperfectly, found his way back to authenticity. Perhaps art and life weren't so different after all. 3 days after the Oscars, Adam sat in his home office, scrolling through the seemingly endless commentary about his Academy Awards appearance. What had begun as fashion criticism had evolved into something larger, a debate about authenticity in Hollywood, about the gap between art and artifice. His publicist had called a dozen times, eager to manage the narrative. Adam had let the calls go to voicemail. He needed time to process what had happened and what it meant. A knock at the door interrupted his thoughts. Jackie entered with a cup of coffee and the morning newspaper. Still hiding out? She asked gently. Just thinking, he replied, accepting the coffee gratefully. She placed the newspaper on his desk. Page 6. You might want to read it. Adam unfolded the paper to find an op-ed titled, What Adam Sandler Taught Us About Hollywood. The piece was written by a respected film critic who had often been harsh on Adam's comedies. In an industry built on image and illusion, the article read, Sandler's choice to remain visibly himself, even at the cost of ridicule, serves as a powerful reminder of what we claim to value but rarely reward. Authenticity. Perhaps the real performance isn't on the screen, but on the red carpet, where actors must pretend to be versions of themselves that don't exist beyond that moment. Adam read the piece twice, surprised by its supportive tone. It wasn't the only one. Other articles had begun to emerge, questioning whether the backlash said more about Hollywood's superficiality than about Adam's choice. His phone rang. Steven Spielberg, who had directed him in a small but significant role years earlier. "I don't usually call actors after awards shows," Spielberg said after pleasantries, "but I wanted to tell you something. 30 years in this business, and I've watched too many talented people lose themselves trying to fit expectations. What you did took courage." The conversation left Adam reflective. Later that afternoon, he received a letter, an actual handwritten letter, from an 18-year-old film student. "I've spent my life thinking I needed to become someone else to make it. In film," the young man wrote, "seeing someone succeed on their own terms meant more than I can express." That evening, Adam received an unexpected email from the Academy itself, inviting him to speak at a panel about artistic integrity and persona in the film industry. "Your recent experience has sparked important conversations," the invitation read. "We believe your perspective would be valuable." Adam sat with the invitation for a long time, considering what he might say if he accepted. This wasn't about clothes anymore. It was about the courage to remain yourself in an industry that constantly pressured you to be someone else. The following week, Adam found himself standing before a packed auditorium at the Academy's Samuel Goldwyn Theatre. Film students, industry veterans, and media filled the seats. "I never intended to make a statement," Adam began, his voice steady. "I just wanted to feel like myself on a night that already felt surreal enough." He spoke about his journey in Hollywood, the early rejections, the studio executives who wanted him to be more conventional, the critics who dismissed his work. "Throughout my career, I've had the most success when I trusted my instincts and stayed true to my voice," he continued, "even when that voice didn't fit the Hollywood mold." He talked about the pressure to conform, not just in clothing, but in the stories told, the characters portrayed, the formula followed. Great films, the ones we remember decades later, often come from people brave enough to break those formulas, he said, to risk being misunderstood or criticized because they believe in their vision. As he concluded his remarks, Adam looked out at the audience, particularly the young filmmakers just beginning their journeys. "The biggest lesson I've learned is this: your uniqueness isn't something to overcome. It's your greatest asset. In an industry built on pretending, the most radical act might be simply being yourself." The applause was immediate and sustained. Afterward, a line of young filmmakers waited to speak with him, many expressing how his words had affected them. Later that evening, Adam received a text from Denzel Washington, who had won the Oscar that night. "Meant to tell you this sooner. Your performance was the best one nominated, and what you did afterward took more courage than any role." 6 months later, Adam began production on a new film, one he had written himself, about an artist, navigating the tension between commercial success and personal integrity. The script had sparked a bidding war among studios, with many citing its authentic voice as its greatest strength. On the first day of filming, Adam arrived on set in comfortable clothes, feeling more at peace with himself and his place in Hollywood than he had in years. Sometimes, he reflected, the most valuable lessons come from our most uncomfortable moments. As he surveyed the busy set, the crew arranging lights, the assistant directors coordinating movements, the actors preparing for their scenes, Adam felt profound gratitude, not for nominations or accolades, but for the privilege of telling stories his way, dressed in his own clothes, speaking in his own voice. In an industry built on transformation, he had finally found the courage to remain himself. And in the end, that was the most liberating role of all.